Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to yet another session of Sunday English Speaking Series powered by Shubh Language Academy. I'm Dr. Jaivardhan Singh, and today's session we have on the topic importance of hobbies. So I'll just set the context as always. As you all know, that hobbies play a crucial role in our lives, enhancing the state of our lives by providing personal fulfillment, relaxation, and skill development. These are activities pursued for enjoyment and leisure rather than for financial gain. But we can always talk about that. Is there any financial component associated with hobbies or not? So we can always delve into it. Now, engaging in hobbies can significantly boost mental well being, offering a break from our daily routine and even from stress. For instance, creative hobbies like painting or writing can serve as therapeutic outlets, allowing individuals to express themselves and manage emotions more effectively. Moreover, hobbies often promote personal growth and skill acquisition. For example, learning a musical instrument or mastering a new language can improve cognitive abilities and foster discipline. Hobbies also offer opportunities for social interaction, whether through clubs, online communities, or events, thereby helping to build relationships and social networks. Physical hobbies such as gardening or sports contribute to overall health and fitness, enhancing physical well being and reducing the risk of various health issues. Additionally, hobbies can ignite passion and curiosity, leading to lifelong learning and personal enrichment. In essence, hobbies enrich our lives by improving mental health, fostering personal development, and enhancing social connections, making them an invaluable part of a balanced and fulfilling life. So I'm sure you all understood what I just said, and you all totally agree with everything that I've just spoken about. So we'll open the session, and I would like to listen from you, everyone, and then I'll also share some points from my side that I'd already shared initially. And in the end, there'll be a little activity for all of you as to some interesting hobbies I'll try to share, and would get to know what you mean by those hobbies. So anyone who would like to share his or her experiences, or what do you think about hobbies? Why are they important? You could always raise your hands, and then we'll go ahead accordingly. All right, so we'll start with Parham. Parham, over to you.
Good morning, sir. Today, hobbies play a vital role in enriching our life, fostering personal growth, and nurturing overall well-being. And engaging in activities, for example, we love outside of work or school um, helps reduce stress, boost creativity, and improves mental and physical health. Hobbies provide an outlet for self expression, allowing us to tap into our passions and interests and explore new talents. They also offer opportunities to meet like-minded individuals, build connections, and develop social skills. Also, moreover, hobbies can enhance focus, discipline and time management, translating to improved performance in other areas of life by pri- prioritizing hobbies. We can strike a healthy work life balance, cultivate a sense of purpose, and unlock a deeper sense of fulfillment and happiness.
Absolutely, Parham. Totally. And what kind of hobbies do you pursue in your life, Parham? What are your hobbies?
Unlimited hobbies I have. I
You
can't
have
tell.
got unlimited hobbies, but if you were to limit them and if you were to tell some of them, what would you share with us?
Okay, I like studying. I like playing music. I like playing instruments like clapbox, and I like to study about space. I have gone to HAL and VITRM also, so that made me excited. And whatever, I like playing music and unlimited. I can't tell.
Okay, but you find new activities that come your way as well. I mean, it's not a limited set of things. So everything that you see interests you. You want to try hands on that.
Yeah,
Is that so?
everything we see we have to try on hands. The feeling comes like excited what I will do in this, what
Right.
course. Like my hobbies was to already get in your class, and so my hobby came and I started to learn English with you.
Right. That's good. That's good. I think your motivation is quite evident and it's quite contagious as well. So thank you, Parham, for your participation. All right. So we'll move ahead. So I think Parham has already set the context. Anyone? We see Subhashish. Yeah, Subhashish, over to you.
Yes, good morning, sir. And sorry I joined a bit late because of network issues. It's raining
Not a
since
problem, please.
last 2 days. Okay, so
All
I
right.
missed what you said, so I missed it. See, first of all, hobbies, as Parham has covered almost everything. Like it is good for your creativity. We can use your creative skills, and it is also like we require hobbies as pleasure because we need to relax. So that is why we have to, like take up some activity which are hobbies. Now, Parham has said that one of his hobbies is studying, which is really, I'm laughing because, if every student take it as hobby, then, they will be good students. Because normally we don't, we always take study as a pressure, isn't it? So, and nowadays due to the advancement in technology, our hobbies are changing. Like earlier, there were hobbies like coin collection, stamp collection, but nowadays we don't use post at all. So there's no question of stamp collection, no question of coin collection. And instead of that, we like develop hobbies like maybe doing Facebook. I don't know whether you categorize it under hobbies or not, and playing online games rather than playing any, like any board games or going to the field. Now people prefer, like playing football virtually rather than going to the field and playing football actually. So listening to music has even become more popular because we got more options now. We got YouTube, we got certain apps like Spotify and Garni and various musical apps. So this has led to the increase in people to listen to music in watching movies because of these apps. So hobbies is
Absolutely.
required to relax, but what I would prefer is I always prefer the old hobbies, because if you get addicted to music and if you always keep on listening to music, it's obviously it's bad for our ears, and if we keep on watching movies on our mobile, it's bad for our eyes. So we should take up hobbies. And another hobby which I think, I don't know how many people they like it, it's gardening or planting plants. That is a very good hobby that will keep your mind fresh as well as keep you attached to nature. Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's all, sir. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sribashish, because you have beautifully put across the fact that hobbies have evolved over the years now. And as we see that there is globalization and industrialization and all this technological advancement that is happening across the globe, we see that there's a shift from hobbies, the traditional hobbies, if I can categorize them in that category, wherein you were talking about coin collection or stamps collection. Now we are into a digital era and sending postcards and these things are not too prevalent now. So collecting stamps has become something outdated. So has coin collection, because it's all digital money these days. So coins are not readily available, and moreover, we don't use them quite often. So that's true. At the same time, you talked about new hobbies that have come up, Shubhashish. So I think that reminds me about we will definitely talk about these hobbies. But then one of the hobbies that comes to my mind is bird watching. So something that you sit and you observe the nature to relax yourself, to give pleasure to yourself, and in a way that you would get away with certain problems otherwise which would always be there in your life. So post covid, we have seen that a lot of stress and even work pressure, people are under the situation of burnout. So all these situations, they put a lot of pressure under, on everyone. And somehow to get a solution for that, I think what you rightly talk about, gardening, associating oneself to nature and then being one with the earth, mother earth, I think that makes a lot of sense for our existence. Absolutely. We have Shashi Bhushan. Yeah, Shashi Bhushan, over to you.
Sir, may I speak after him?
Yeah, we'll give you a chance, Param. Right? Yeah.
Good morning, sir. My
Yeah.
name
Good
is
morning.
Mansi, and I study in class 10th.
Oh, Mansi.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, it's my father's
All right.
laptop. That's
Okay.
why.
Oh, not a problem. Please carry on, Mansi.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to speak about a very important topic, which is importance of hobby. Hobbies play a crucial role in everyone's life, offering a break from rigorous academic schedule and office schedule. They allow individuals to explore their passion and interest beyond fostering schoolwork and office work, fostering creativity and self-expression. Balancing studies and work, like office work, with hobbies is essential to relieve stress and enhance focus and improve mental health well-being. Engaging in hobbies like reading, painting, sports, or music helps develop new skills, improve concentration, and builds confidence. These activities promote a sense of accomplishment and can provide a healthy outlet for emotions. Hobbies also encourage time management as students learn to juggle their academic responsibilities alongside personal interests. Moreover, hobbies can pave the way for future career opportunities by helping students discover their strengths and passions. For instance, a student with a hobby in writing may develop a love for literature or journalism, while another who enjoys playing sports could pursue a career in athletics. In conclusion, hobbies are not just a source of enjoyment, they are essential for personal growth. They bring balance in life, making people more focused, disciplined, and well rounded individuals, preparing them for the challenges ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mansi. I think you talked about certain interesting aspects of hobbies, that it is not just for pleasure and for relaxation, it can also be taken up later on as a career. So, when you talk about future opportunities that hobbies hold for us, it gets developed with passage of time, and we start to see some new career that comes on our way. And what you rightly mentioned is the fact that it helps us to find a balance in our life, and also for the fact that there's a lot of discipline, and there's a lot of commitment, and these are values and attributes that one has to have in oneself so as to move ahead in life, and also to take up any career. The strong foundation can be laid by something that is done in a playful way, in a way which is not too a lot of pressure is not there, and you enjoy it, and with the passage of time you don't even get to know as to this activity, this funful activity of yours, this hobby of yours becomes your profession at a later stage of life. So I think this makes a lot of sense. So this is a conversion of a passion into a profession. So that's interesting. Thank you, Mansi, for your inputs. um, yeah, furthermore, if someone, Parham is there, of course, if there are some other people who'd like to join in with their ideas, their thought processes, anything they would like to say about their hobbies.
Yes, I'm just interfering once. I
Yeah,
really like what Mansi has said. She's beautifully placed, very well organized, and she's covered what you have said is actually correct. Like she's covered some aspects, like it can lead to your future, like career. It can help in a career.
absolutely, absolutely. I think at
It's a
times,
very good
Subhash,
point she's raised.
yeah, yes. So at times, youth and youngsters and everyone for that matter, we are at the crossroads of our career. We don't know which direction should we head towards and how to move ahead in our life. So if we have some kind of a passion, a hobby of ours, not only does it keep us intact in terms of our thought processes, our emotions, because Mansi talked about it's an outlet for emotions as well. So when we are into some kind of a hobby, we know how to manage our emotions, and that helps us to develop our personality. And I would also mention the fact that we can always align our interests in a professional manner, not at the very outset, because one doesn't know at the very outset would it unfold in that way or not. So, but I think slowly and gradually, when we get to know that this interest can be taken up as a career later on in life, so that can take up a professional shape as well. So I think the amalgamation, the connection between the passion and profession can beautifully open up for a wonderful opportunity that we can explore later on in our life.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, to what extent parents' role is important? Because what I feel nowadays, for most of the parents, they force their children to study because they want good marks, and 80%, 80%, forget it. If you don't get less, if you get less than 95%, you're not a good student. So this pressure which is like being created by the parents, I'm sorry, I mean, I might sound a bit rude, but this is the actual fact, could be such that the parents, they force the children to study and get good marks, which is not giving that time, or which is not uh, encouraging the children to take up hobbies. So, what is your opinion? Like, what extent, this is affecting the child?
I think very interesting point raised by you, Subhashish. Not only me, I think everyone has the permission to please dash in your points, what you feel. But since you asked me at the outset, I'll try to respond to that question. So the point raised by Subhashish is that how what is the role of parents in letting their children have multiple opportunities to explore their talents, their competencies, rather than just focusing on their studies, their academic part of it. So I feel that. Uh, I mean, at times I would not even blame parents, Subhashish, for that matter, because they have their own limited understanding, and they have been raised that way. That if you don't study well, you would ruin your career. That's how we see things for ourselves. So, but a new insight has to be put in, new understanding has to be created, and we have to see that every child is unique. We all have our own sets of competencies, and how do we develop them with passage of time? It needs a lot of external support. Uh, as a child, I cannot understand what I'm good at, but my entourage, my surrounding would help me to find the best qualities that I have, and they would help me to go in that direction. Of course, we are nowhere underestimating the importance of studies. It is there, it has to be there. We cannot do without that later on in our life. But to a certain extent, it is important. Because after all, everything that we studied, maybe mathematics or certain other aspects of I would say science, they do help us, but then not in a complete way if we are not in the same field anymore in later stages of our life. So I feel that for parents and for everyone who is surrounding a child, one has to see what the child is good at, and then push that child in that direction along with the studies, of course, because the basic education is important. That helps us to understand how the world operates. But apart from that, our own skills, they have to be worked upon as well. And the span of 10 to 12 years that we spend during our school time, I think when we come out of the school after 12th grade in Indian system, and then we start exploring a new career for us, I think the span of 12 years, if dealt in a way which helps us train us on a certain competency, at least one. We can go for 2 to 3. You should always have plan A, plan B, plan C. But if not many plans, at least one plan along with your studies can be there attached. And the society has to support, parents have to support. The individual alone cannot do everything, because the child is, it's like a we would say is an innocent child with a lot of talent and doesn't know how to move ahead with that talent. So I think a lot of support should come from family, from friends, from people who understand and who have understood rather what are the competencies and talents hidden in that child. So I think what you rightly mentioned, Subhashish, is very important, that people have to help. That's why we call, we see there are talented children who sing well, who dance well, and with the passage of time, when they are pushed into a lot of studies and mathematics and science, they start losing their competencies, and they feel that okay, to be a good student, that's the most important thing in the world, and apart from this, other things are not important. I think that mindset has to be changed. There is a change that's coming in, but how much do we stick on to that? That's also very important. So I don't know if I responded to your question or not, but that's just a thought that came to my mind. For everyone else, if you have anything to say on that point, that how,
Sunny.
yeah, Parham, you want to say something?
Yes.
Yes, please tell us.
Okay, hobbies are essential for a happy and healthy life. They offer a break from our daily routines, allowing us to relax, recharge, and pursue our passions. Through hobbies, we can express ourselves repeatedly challenge ourselves physically and mentally, and connect with others who shares our interests. Hobby also play a crucial role in reducing stress and anxiety by immersing ourselves in active activities we love. We can shift our focus away from worries and concerns. This helps maintain our mental well-being and overall quality of life. Moreover, hobbies can help us develop new skills, build confidence, and discover hidden talents. They provide a sense of accomplishment and pride, which can translate to areas of life. In today's fast paced world, it's easy to neglect hobbies. However, try or design them is vital for our well-being also. So take time to explore your interests, pursue your passions, and make hobbies an integral part of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Parham. This point raised at the end, that in this fast-paced society wherein we are just concerned about our work, our job, our business, and we hardly pay attention to our hobbies. It's an open question for everyone. How do you see? Do you get time to practice and pursue your hobbies? And how do you see transforming your hobbies into profession? Has anyone ever done it? If there are people here in this group who have been able to sort of transfer their hobbies, their passions towards their professions, and how has the journey been for you? And do you think is it easy or is it really troublesome? So, Smitaji, if you have to say something on
Yes,
that.
sure. Yeah. For
Then I have a
me,
question for you.
Yeah, Parham, we'll take your question in the end, right? Just can excuse us. We'll have it. You can drop your question in the chat box meanwhile. Yeah, Smitaji, over to you.
yeah, for me, from a very young age, languages and study and education was always a passion. And I still remember some of my teachers. So at this stage of my life, answering to your question, yes, I have been able to successfully transform my passion and my one of my thing that I like and enjoy the most into a career and a profession. And here I'd like to add one more point. As we are at this stage of our lives in today's fast-paced world, though this group is very young, but as you grow older, and there are a lot of cases of Parkinson's and the dementia now. So if you have a hobby or something that you like and enjoy, I think it could help to improve or eradicate many of the problems that we face in the society. This is what I'd like to add.
Wow.
Yes, it might
Totally.
sound out of place in a group like this, but if you have something which you can fall back later on in life, I think it does help you to a very large extent. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, Smitaji. I think that really makes sense, and it's quite relevant what you have said because we hardly pay attention to the fact that our mental ability, the mental flexibility, it can only be kept in place when we are always involved in some kind of activities post retirement. So, of course, retirement is something that people have a willingness towards it if they are into some kind of a profession that requires a voluntary retirement after a certain age. But then these kind of activities, even if we are in that job or not, and we are not retiring at all, so these activities keep us engaged at in the entirety of our life. It's a lifelong learning process. So when we talk about these mental ailments, I think what you talk about the ability of our brain to sort of function in an efficient way, even at every stage of our life, that can be propelled and enhanced with the involvement of activities, which is of course hobbies. So that's true. It's
Yeah,
totally in
I'd
line.
like to add one more thing.
Yes,
We
please.
just had India representing recently at the Olympics in Paris. Now,
Yes,
even if I feel the government and the youngsters should be encouraged to do that, that maybe in future we would perform a little better to transform your hobbies or what you like or what you're passionate about in something which could help you also in future and the country also. Just to add on a note of
absolutely.
sensibilisation, means to be a little
Right.
more sensible, have
Right.
empathy, because the world is all
Yes.
about empathy, resilience, and sensibility.
Yeah, absolutely,
Thank you.
Smitaji. I think that's also true. That to explore your passion, your talent, your competency at a very young age, and then moving in that direction with complete support system, and thereby, if we target Olympics or other category of sports, it is always a long effort that goes into it. It doesn't happen overnight. So this involvement, this practice, this regular updation in what is happening in that field, how can we train ourselves? It needs a lot of support system and personal commitment as well. So I think that way we can move. And the way you rightly said about your transformation from your passion towards your profession, these things happen, but people have to be supported. Otherwise, someone who's all by himself or herself cannot understand the complexities, one, and the complete aspect of that event, that sport, that hobby. How can it be developed? So I think a complete support system should always be there. Thank you. Shubhashish, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I would like to tell you about my hobby.
Yes, please.
It is like, see, earning money is my necessity, but making money is my hobby. So that is one thing.
Okay.
And yes, what you said is like the support that is required, not only from your family, but also from the society. Society should encourage you. For example, a budding sportsman, if he gets a lot of encouragement from the society, obviously, like, will shine in the field. But
True.
unfortunately, what I feel is, the mentality of people are changing. The mentality which was earlier of the people, let's say 25, 30 years ago, is totally, it's just, I feel it's the opposite. That is why our grandparents, or to a certain extent our parents, managed to lead a better life or managed to be successful in their ventures. But nowadays it is becoming very difficult. Instead of supporting, people would like to, like, uh demotivate you, discourage you. That is what I feel. I don't know, maybe I'm talking in a very negative way, but this is what I'm seeing. So this is one thing that is really, making us, it's basically there's a transformation of the mindset of people. So I just shared
True.
my view. I don't know to what extent I'm right or wrong, but I just shared my view.
Absolutely. No, I think we are not being judgmental here at all. It's everyone's perception and how you see, how you have lived, how you have traveled your own journey. Even before listening to Tanuja, I would just quickly dash in one point. What you talk about the transformation, Shubhashish, and that's true that, we had this famous line as children, we heard it, that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So that's true. We all saw that if you're every time we are studying and we are working hard, and there's no relaxation, there's no recreation, then somewhere we are losing out on our efficiency and we are not able to deliver what we could otherwise. And at the same time, in such a fast paced world wherein we see that everyone asks us, okay, you do this, but what do you do actually? So maybe if someone were to say, I sing, great, but what is your profession? I dance, okay, great, but what is your profession? So people have still not yet gotten with the idea that any profession can be an activity which can seem to be very easy perhaps to the external person, but it involves a lot of commitment, dedication, discipline, hard work, practice in that whole activity to be pursued. So that's true that it has changed. So people look forward to activities that would be perhaps money generating, which would make a lot of sense in the society as well. When someone would put across that, okay, I do this or I do that, great, we appreciate it, because they would attach numbers to it. They would attach financial aspect component, the revenues that you could generate from that. So I think that also is something that has come up in a long way. So people have started putting their hobbies at the, I would say, at the second place or the third place. The first and the foremost thing comes, what profession do you do and how much financial rewards do you generate out of it? I think perhaps you wanted to say the same thing, because in the span of these 25, 30 years, how our parents lived, even before that, how our grandparents lived, they had a serene life, they had a peaceful life, and they could actually explore their hobbies all by doing their professional commitments. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Subhashish. Yeah, over to you, Tanuja.
Thank you, sir. Just taking it forward,
Yes.
opening another aspect to it. Uh,
Yes.
like we have a main profession and then we have a hobby. Making our hobby our profession is the ideal thing, but then hobbies serve as a backup. If something doesn't work in the main profession, you have something to go back to, fall back to. But if you make your hobby your profession, and that will be the sole thing you actually know, and then where do you fall back to? So make it is a very risky thing. Like if you like sports, you become a sports person, but then the pressure on you, and then you have a very limited sports life. What happens
Sure.
after that? So uh, that is
Yes.
it. That is all.
No, no, I think that's rightly said, Tanuja. That's why I think everyone ensures that you do your basic studies in a proper
Sir,
manner. Yeah, Parham.
sir, I have to go out. Can I leave?
No, no, not a problem. You could leave. Thank you, Parham, for your contribution.
Okay, sir.
Right. So absolutely, Tanuja, that if we are just hopeful with one competency and we would want to give everything to it, and if at all it doesn't work, then of course we have to have a plan B. That's why everyone says that please complete your basic studies in a way that later on, if situation is such that you have to move ahead in a different direction, you don't have to start from scratch. You have some kind of a basic understanding as to how the world operates, especially, and how things could be taken up as a professional way later on. Right. Thank you. Anyone else would like to talk about their own experiences of following a hobby, or are there any drawbacks of hobbies as well? Do you see are there drawbacks of hobbies? Are there some shortcomings? Are there some problem points for hobbies? If anyone can delve into it, because normally we associate hobbies as something wonderful, something that helps us in blooming and flourishing and developing ourselves. But do you also think that hobbies can have some sort of drawbacks or problem points? Tanuja, if you can
Yes.
shed some light
Yes.
on that.
I think, because hobbies are something that you're extremely passionate about, and one hobbies are generally not cheap. Like even if you start with a small painting, then as the hobby improves, then they just start getting more and more and more and more expensive. And then
True,
because you are so passionate about them, you really cannot put a comma or a full stop to it. Like it
true.
goes, it is stretched a little too thin then.
Absolutely, yeah. So you are talking about the financial involvement, the
Not
expense
the
involved.
financial, also the
Right,
emotional and the passion, and then you kind of just close up to the entire thing, like the entire world. You just let
right,
everything out, and you are so focused in your passion that
right.
what started as a hobby
Yeah.
suddenly, after a span of say 10 years, turns into a kind of madness.
Right.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you
too
tend to forget
passionate.
your family responsibilities, your professional responsibilities. Is that so? You tend to.
See, well, like suppose if somebody likes reading,
Right.
like somebody likes reading, I'm a very passionate reader,
Right.
but nobody in my family lets me read. Like they don't like me sitting with a novel, because if I'm in the middle of the climax, I don't really bother whether the family gets food or not. So,
Is
so,
it? All
so
right.
that is
That's
it. Right?
interesting. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's still bearable because you can manage it. But if it were someone is involved in a hobby that puts this person totally away from the family, and the family needs this person urgently, maybe there we can feel that kind of pressure, wherein how to strike a balance between your hobby that has consumed you completely, and on the other hand, you have your family that's waiting for you. So maybe that also is important to strike a balance between the two. True, true.
Yes.
I think the over involvement and the financial aspect of it, Tanuja, you
Yes.
rightly said it. Great. Yeah, I see Deepmala. Deepmala, over to you. You'd like to share something?
Hello, sir, and hello, all of you. According to doing the hobbies, I want to say something that today the life is so fast, and the hobbies always take times. If we are doing something, if we are painting, it will take so much time, and we have every day, especially being a mother, I want to say that I have no time to involve in my hobbies. And for children also, if I think the even on the weekend, I have no I cannot say them that you can do whatever you like, because we have to go somewhere. And for this moment, I think always I have so many hobbies to do, but my children are totally busy and in studies. And for study, I focus them to study, but for the hobbies, I don't have time to let them free, so that when they can do whatever they want to do. So less of time,
Right.
it's a main uh, problem while doing hobbies.
Right. That's a true point, Deepmala, what you put forward that we all are running short of time. But how do you see that running short of time component coming into our lives? Why are we running short of time? What is it that is getting us engaged everywhere and we are not able to perhaps uh, devote a proper amount of time to the activities or to the hobbies for our kids, for perhaps us either. So how do you see that? What is the reason behind it?
I, I think that's the society which pressures us, and everyone is running, so we are also running.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a rat race that we are doing. So everyone is chasing something, but indeed we don't know as to what we are chasing, and is it the ultimate peace and satisfaction or the pleasure that we have to we are in search of, or what is it? So that's an existential question that I would like to put here, that we don't know what we are chasing, and ultimately we all are chasing our internal peace and satisfaction and pleasure and leisure and relaxation. But at the very outset, how Subhashish or Parham said that what is a hobby? A hobby is an activity that gives us satisfaction, pleasure, and it is something that gives us peace and joy of heart. So in the end, if we have to find it, we have to do it. But we're not doing it, and still we are, in the wake of the same thing in a way which is putting a lot of pressure on us. So it's a very paradoxical situation and a paradoxical society too. And the times are such that we are shunting between two extremities of a lot of pressure, hard work, stress, and at the same time we're looking forward to me time and time for relaxation and peaceful time. So that's true. It's a difficult time, but I don't know how we have to cope with it. But we are trying to find solutions for the same. Thank you, Deepmala, for your input. Before me moving ahead, I would like to quickly share my screen by showing some of the points that we had prepared for this session, so that if at all you would like to move ahead with those points, you could always take those points up. So I just show this little document. All right, I'm sharing the screen. I just stop sharing once and then I'll reshare it. I hope that it would work. Right. All right, I go here, I'll share it again. Yeah. So so these are some of the hobbies, and largely you know them. I'll just read these ones out for everyone. So it involves reading, writing, painting, drawing, playing sports, listening to music, playing musical instruments, dancing, gardening, cooking, traveling, photography. Then we have other hobbies that include cycling, hiking, swimming, fishing, knitting. Then we have got sewing, yoga, meditation, watching movies. We also have watching TV shows, playing video games, collecting stamps, collecting coins that Shubhashish talked about, playing chess, playing cards, bird watching, woodworking, and learning a new language. Now, largely, we understand what are the benefits of having hobbies. It reduces stress, boosts creativity, enhances problem-solving skills. I think what Smitaji said about the mental flexibility, the mental ability for keeping ourselves active. So that also helps us in problem-solving skills. Then improves mental health, encourages social interaction, increases patience, provides relaxation, develops time management skills. I think that was said by Mansi. She talked about this. It enhances focus and concentration. It promotes lifelong learning, builds self-confidence, provides a sense of accomplishment, helps in personal growth, offers an escape from routine, absolutely, improves physical health in case if we are involved into some kind of physical activity. Then there are also reasons to strengthen I would say, hand and eye coordination. Then we have the reason that it expands our knowledge, it encourages teamwork when we are working as a team, it offers personal fulfillment, develops organizational skills. It also helps in developing organizational skills by helping us to maintain a work-life balance. It improves communication skills, creates a sense of belongingness because we belong to a community. We have a club wherein we all are together. If there is a hobby that involves many people, then it boosts memory, builds perseverance, helps in relaxation after work, provides mental stimulation, helps express emotions. Now, that's very important. We have to exhibit our emotions. We just cannot keep them to ourselves. So that burst, that blast would only happen when we are involved in some kind of activity. So our joy, our sorrows, when we win, when we lose, actually we let it release. and then it can lead to new career opportunities. And in the end, we see it also helps build resilience so that we are strong. As we were talking about the drawbacks or the shortcomings, so it can be time consuming at times. It could be expensive. It can distract us from our responsibilities. It can lead to stress if we overdo it, that I have to do it, I have to complete it. Some hobbies require significant physical effort, so we get tired and we cannot focus on to our regular life. It can also lead to isolation if at all it is a solo hobby that we are doing and there's no one else to be there for us. For example, I don't know, playing video games perhaps. So we've seen that it's so addictive that people just carry on with the same thing. May cause frustration if progress is slow, and it can become addictive, and we can become addicted to it, and it can take up our financial resources, and it can become monotonous if not varied. So we have to ensure that there's a lot of variation that happens, and there's a variety of things that we put in so that the zeal, the enthusiasm, it stays over there. Any points from your side on the same your hobbies? How have you grown with your hobbies? Deepmala, you would like to say something? I see your hand raised. Yeah, Shubhashish, would like to say something?
Yeah, sir, like one hobby I've mentioned, I think it shouldn't be a hobby, but it should like we should make it a part of our life. That is yoga.
Yeah. That's yeah, absolutely true. True. I
Yeah,
mean,
because for proper mental and
yeah,
physical growth and for well-being is very important. But another thing that can be, like adopted as hobby, which is close to it, is Zumba. Zumba is another thing you can adopt it as hobby, but which means again, like relaxing, refreshing, and which keeps you
true.
mentally and physically fit.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think people have to understand that how they have to pick hobbies for themselves, which are not only full of pleasure and joy, but at the same time, what you rightly say, Shubhashi, that they help you strengthen your physical abilities and, of course, your mental abilities as well. That's true.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Anyone who'd like to dash in their points on this topic? How parents play a significant role. I don't know if you could share your personal stories if you're comfortable with that. How has it been in your family with yourself in your childhood? Were you able to take up your preferred activities in the later course of your life, or you had to renounce them, or how was it for you? And how do you see what is happening in the contemporary situation? What Deepmala rightly mentioned, that we all are running here and there. We're trying to do everything, but in a way that is very clumsy, and we are not able to fulfill anything by trying to do everything. So, anything, yeah, Tanuja, I would like to listen from you.
This is a very offbeat thing, but something just happened, so I'm sharing it. I
Yes.
have a daughter who's in class 12 now, and she's a very hardworking child. Please do not judge her with what I'm going to say next.
Right.
She really, really works hard. And some days ago, she gave an online test, and she's like really working hard. She puts in
Right.
about 10 to 12 hours of study every day, and she uh, and she gave her some exam, online exam, and she said, okay, ma, she was a little upset, and she said, I got 194. So I didn't coax it further, like what happened, etc., etc. I said, okay, good, very good. It's okay, next time we'll do better. And today
Right.
in the morning, her father comes and says, child is putting in so much of effort, she needs to go out, spend, like, she needs to do something else, because this is not how things work. She got
Right.
194, and she was rank 194. I said, okay, fine, she will go up. She said, do you know out of how much was that? I said, no, that I didn't ask. And it was like 194 out of 194. So
Right.
because and then finally we asked her, like, what happened. So she was so stressed working out, she accidentally hit the submit button. So, like,
Okay.
so she could not complete the test. So, like, you
Right.
are so stressed doing something, and like, then you do exactly what you didn't want to do. So,
True.
I think, you really need to come out of that thing and find some time for yourself, because it's okay, we don't really need to win anything. We will all survive eventually, and we will do
True.
good. Like, in
True.
different aspects we will do good. So we should take that pressure off ourselves. And one more thing, sir, I think what Deepmala said, that we are all running behind. The we often hear things like the world is shrinking by the day. The world may be shrinking by the day, but the commutation isn't. On in larger cities, on an average, I think a person spends about 3 to 4 hours commuting. So where is the time left for hobbies? So if
True.
we find some hobbies that we can do while in the train or car or bus or train, I don't know what, then we really don't have time left for them.
True, true. I think that's so unavoidable that how hard we try not to be a part of that rat race, we end up being a part of it. So, what you rightly mentioned, Tanuja, is to find those slots for ourselves, whether we are traveling or we are at the workplace, to find certain activities that relax us, and at the same time, the fact to empower our people in our surroundings, to tell them that we all will survive. That's a very interesting message that I can draw from what you said, Tanuja, that everyone has to feel that it might be a competition that we all are living in this world, but in the end, we all will win. I think if this message is percolated down to everyone and across everyone, I think the pressure will get reduced, and we will be more happy, and we would not be under any stress to submit the buttons. I think I can take it just as as an image. So
Yes.
we would submit the button which says, it's all done and all nicely done. Because I can understand what your daughter went through. That there's a lot of pressure. Maybe you didn't create any pressure, but everyone was doing it. So you how hard you try not to be under that pressure. But when you see people across doing the same thing and everyone trying to outbeat the other person, it naturally gets created. So that message, if we give from the childhood, and they know that this race is not to win anything, but to actually win our own happiness and to be able to do it in a way that makes us peaceful and joyful. That's the essence of our existence.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Tanuja. I think Shubhashish wants to say something. Shubhashish?
Yeah, like one which the point that Anjan ma'am is raised, it happens with me. Like every day, I have to spend at least 5 to 6 hours commuting because I stay in the suburbs. You have heard of Chandanagar, I'm sure, the French colony.
Right.
So the
Right.
distance between Calcutta and Chandanagar is approximately 50 to 60 kilometers. From my house to central part of Calcutta. So I have to spend at least 2.5 to 3 hours commuting
Every
to
day.
go. Yeah, 2.5 to 3 hours to go and 2.5 to 3 hours to come back. So it's 5 to 6 hours I spend.
Oh, and
So
then what do you
yeah,
do? How do you do?
I would like to ask ma'am over here, like there's no other option for developing any activity in crowded bus and crowded train because they're all crowded. So one is just either stand and fight with and argue with people. That is one hobby I've developed while traveling by bus and train. And another thing is, I would like to raise a point over here. The difference of hobby in the rural sector and the urban sector. See, we, the city people, we have different sets of hobbies, whereas people from the rural areas, where they don't have access to these kinds of things which we are exposed to, so their hobbies are
True.
totally different, what I feel. So,
True.
I would like to ask you, like, to what extent do you think there is a difference, in hobbies in the rural and the urban background? So, what's the difference?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. If there are any differences between the kind of hobbies that are pursued by people living in the rural areas and that which are being pursued by people living in the urban areas. So, anyone, if you would like to say something on that, because I see Subhashish these days because of internet everywhere, and we all live at the same pace. There's no difference. I think it's just even people who live in the developed cities, when they work in such big cities, they would want to go back to the countryside areas and the villages to stay over there. That's how we call it. There's a new term in the Western world. I don't know if you have heard about it. That's called uh, the neo-rural. That's what we call it in French, which are like the new rural people, who are working in the big cities, and they commute. The way you said, Subhashish, morning they leave their countryside homes, they go to work in big cities. In the evening, they travel back to their countryside homes, so that they live in a peaceful way. So I think. So activities will be same. I think going for jump in the pond nearby. It can be done by people who work in cities and they go back to their countryside home. So because of internet, I feel everything is so common these days. We hardly find difference. People from villages, they are moving to cities to find better job opportunities, and they are giving up on their activities or all those things that they were doing earlier in the villages. The people from cities, I'm not categorizing them on any criteria, it's just the geographical location. I hope it's not the competency. So when they are there, the people in the cities, they hardly have time to pursue their hobbies because they are running somewhere. You know what that somewhere is? No one knows what that somewhere is. So that's how it is. So I don't find much of difference of Ashish personally. It's largely the same, but we all are glued onto our mobile phones, that's for sure. We all are running videos and we are watching them, so that's something that's happening. But largely physical activities, because I think your question largely focuses on the physical aspect of it, because we have a peaceful ambiance in villages. It's more, it's cleaner, it's it's pleasant over there. So but things have changed. People are moving to cities from village side, and city people are going to villages or to countrysides for having their farmhouses or their second home. And so there's a lot of exchange happening. So giving a complete clean answer would be troublesome. That how do you distinguish between their activities? It's all a mixed and merged situation these days, I see. Anything, Tanuj, would like to dash in something perhaps, or
Just a
But
small
so,
contribution.
okay,
What
so just one
Subhashi
thing,
said.
because
Go
yeah,
on, Subhashi.
because
Go on,
I've
go on.
seen I've seen villages where there
yeah,
is no electricity. Forget about the internet.
right.
There are villages. So in
Mhm.
that case, there will be, and for these people, it's not possible for them to travel to the city.
True,
Like jumping in the pond or spending hours, in the pond, or maybe playing gilli danda. I think this still exists in these very remote villages.
true,
Okay,
true.
sorry, ma'am. Now,
Yeah,
ma'am will say.
yeah.
Fine,
Tanuj, over to you, please.
Subhashi.
Yeah, thank
That's
you,
absolutely
Subhashish.
okay. See, as Subhashi says, yes, there's a lot of difference, between the activities in a village and like I used to live in my mama sahab lives in a village. So
Right,
whenever I used to visit the village, my hobbies would like my activities would be playing with the rabbits or
right.
milking the goats and things like that. And when I come to the city, it is more of sitting and the quieter ones, which do not require any space, any movement, those kind of activities. So I think that is one of the biggest difference in both the activities. Hobbies in the village area are more nature
Nature
based.
oriented.
Yes,
Yes,
nature
correct. Yeah,
oriented.
you're closer to the nature because there's not much of development, so-called development, which is otherwise, like the concrete jungle that we see around us. Yeah, perfect. I think we are towards the end of the session. I have a little activity. I wanted to share in some words with you all. I'll share my screen and then we'll listen to Shubhashish at the end. So I'll just do it quickly so that you get to see some words. And it's just for the pronunciation part of it. And even if at all you have anything to talk on those words. So at times, certain words are, I know we all try to make our great effort to pronounce them well, but at times we end up pronouncing them in a different way. So anyone for this word's pronunciation, you can just raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself and say it. Yeah, Shubhashish.
Photography.
Right. I think everyone would agree to that. That's photography. Photography. We end up saying it photography, so it is photography. There's something called DIY. I don't know if anyone knows about this. You can just raise your hands and we can talk as to what this DIY, what does it mean? Yeah, Jaditya,
Let's do it yourself.
do it yourself. So could you explain a little bit on this activity? How does it operate? What we have to do since we have to do it all by ourselves?
So when we order something like from Amazon or some other things,
Right.
like you have to
Yeah.
assemble the products. So you say DIY, do it yourself.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. And does it help us in some or the other way?
yeah, learn the skills to assemble like like the skills of a carpenter or the
Yeah.
mason or like other, the
True.
fixing
True.
the guy who
So
comes
maybe
at our
someone wants to
home.
take it
So
up later on, then they absolutely,
mhm.
absolutely. I think that's interesting. So do you order DIY for yourself, Shaditya?
Yeah, I ordered one for aunt. So there was a bill. It was 40s, and then we have to. And
Okay.
I did it herself because she should herself. So
Okay.
but too many
All
hours
right. Okay. Thank you.
and then yeah.
Right. I think there's some network glitch. We cannot hear you properly, Jaditya. All right.
Yeah, the network is very bad here. I'm sorry for that. So yeah,
Mm,
I said my aunt
no, no,
assembled.
no, no, that's not in our hands. So it's okay. Okay. We'll move ahead with the next one. So I'll just quickly open the next word for all of you. Yeah, so this is the word, and I think at times the pronunciation is bothersome for us. Yeah, anyone for this pronunciation? Tanuja?
Sewing.
Yeah, that's sowing. Yeah, to sow, that's the verb, and sowing, and that's how you would say this word. And of course, that's what we see. All right, moving ahead with the next one is this word. Anyone? Yeah, Deepmala?
Hiking.
Hiking. And could you explain what do we do in this activity? Because at times people are not too sure of what does hiking stand for, Deepmala. I mean, is it,
So,
if you have more of clarity on this?
climb on the mountain.
Right. Yeah. So you go in the nature, of course, and you hike, you climb mountains, you can go on some, in the nature when you go and you move ahead in the forests as well. So that's called hiking. And you move upwards largely. All right. And then there's a new activity. I don't know if you've heard about it. That's called train spotting. Anyone who can guess as to what could that activity mean? It's something different because I recall what Shubhashish said that there's a change of activities now that we hardly find people collecting stamps or coins because we don't find them easily. So anyone who could guess what train spotting mean? Any guesses? Which component, which element is used in this activity?
It means like, who are like uh,
Jaditya,
trains, so they
could you
spot
be closer to the
by going
microphone? Your
along.
voice is very low.
Yeah, I'm not well today. It's
Oh,
like in
okay,
the
okay.
train
Yeah.
who have the interest in that. Just like
All right.
people have
So,
like aviation. Yeah.
all right. I could get that people who are interested in trains, but your voice was not too clear. So, interested in which sense, if you can elaborate, your health is not too well today, just a little word on that. So, when you say they're interested in which sense, do they want to sit inside and observe things outside, or they sit outside and they observe trains?
They they uh they come at a particular spot, and then for example in Japan they like for bullet trains is a passing, so you have to be in a particular spot because it passes
Right.
in
Yeah,
the
that's correct. Yeah.
you get some trains. Or people were spotting
All right.
recently, there was a reel, they filmed the Vande Bharat Express in the in front of Sagar Falls via a drone, so it requires a lot of skill and time precision.
True, true, true. All right, perfect. Thank you, Jaditya. Take care of your health. Thank you for participating in the event. Tanuja, if you could elaborate a little bit on that. You wanted to share something on train spotting?
So that is it. It's a hobby where people go and watch trains and try to record their speeds and if and stations and things like the details about the train.
Yes, 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 you're right. Okay, moving ahead, there is this activity. Does anyone know about this? Have you ever seen these kind of videos wherein people are doing soap carving? So that is also there, wherein people would want to carve certain things on certain images, pictures, drawings on. So yeah, Jayaditya.
Yeah, they have these soap carving and candle making workshops now
Yes,
these days in most of the cities. So you can make
true,
your own scented
true, true.
candles and soaps. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, so of course, candle making is also there. Yes, Subhashish.
Yeah, I would like to go back to train spotting,
Yes,
which is
please.
says as
Yeah,
a hobby. But
yeah.
do you know the film? The first film of Satyajit Ray, Pothet Panchali. Over there,
Right,
these two, the boys and girls, Oppu and Durga. Whenever that one train used to pass, they used to go running across the field. Why? Just to get a glimpse of the train.
right, right, right.
So,
No, no,
so
that's true.
because
That's
never seen.
yes,
And
yes,
I just share one small experience. I
yes.
saw the same scene. Like I used to travel around 410 kilometers by
Mhm.
train to teach
Right.
in an institute on a part-time basis.
Okay.
Okay, so 410 kilometers, you can imagine like to what interior the village is situated.
All
And
right.
in the morning, when the train used to pass through the village, I also see the people, those are like the farmers and all, those are doing work in the field. They used to
Yeah.
drop their work and, just look at the
Yes.
train. So
Yes.
I could relate the same scene that I saw in this
Absolutely.
movie, Potter Pachali.
Totally. Totally. I
So,
think
so
very.
will you call it a hobby? I will not call it a
Um,
hobby because they haven't seen train in their life. So every day, like just one train that goes in the morning. So obviously they
true.
I don't know what pleasure they get by watching
No,
the train.
absolutely. I think you've given the answer yourself, Subhashish. It does give them pleasure because
It gives
that
them a
gives them a
pleasure,
break.
yes.
That gives them a break from their mundane work that they're doing, perhaps. And when they look at the train, even that's for hardly, what would you say, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, or maybe I don't know, a minute long, because they get to hear the sound of train and then while it leaves. So that whole episode of a minute, that does good to them, and that break is instant for them, and that is indeed like a hobby for them. So that brings pleasure to them, a lot of joy and peace. Even for the kids, they would just jump up and they would see, oh, the train is arriving. So that's true. That might be not anything for people who are inside the train. Perhaps for them, it should be the outside part of it. When we would see that the trees are moving backwards or things are going backwards as kids, when we used to travel through by train, we would see these things. How does it go backwards? So that was always an amazement for us as kids.
And in Japan, there's a train called Flying Train. I mean, I just discovered it on YouTube.
Right.
Flying Train.
For the
It's
flying train.
not like Flying Train is like it's, you can say, it's like a hanging train where the tracks are upwards.
Yes,
So it
yes.
seems that the trains are flying actually.
True, true, true. Absolutely.
So
Thank
it's
you,
a
Subhashi.
like I like to watch this kind of new videos, and you come to
Yes,
know new things, which is
true.
another good hobby for me.
Hobby, yeah. I think you
Trying
could
to
do
find
that.
out things on YouTube.
Yeah, I think when you were asking Tanuja about what you could do in the span of these 2 hours, you can actually watch some productive videos which can enhance your knowledge. And of
True.
course, then you have to take care of your eyes, because a lot of screen time is not good for the eyes either. Okay, thank you, Subhashi. I think that was interesting, that certain things which might be so senseless at times for us can make a lot of sense to watch even one train pass by. That gives so much of pleasure. So that's true. And that's again a hobby. Yeah, Jayaditya would like to say something?
Yeah, actually, my home is next to the railway line. So since I was a child, so every time the train passed, I used
Yeah,
to observe them and read that, okay, it's going to
right,
Bhopal or some maybe Havra or some other. And I
right.
wanted to be a loco
Uh-huh.
pilot in a when I was younger. So
Okay.
yeah, so I've been fascinated by trains, and
True,
I
true.
find it the best mode of journey in India,
Absolutely.
comparison to buses or flights. Yeah.
Right, right. True, true. I think what you have said is very interesting, for the fact that, I'm sure you would have a little time schedule of certain trains that would pass by at a certain time, because you would have developed that all by yourself by
Yeah.
understanding at
So
this time this
whenever
train passes, and,
whenever
that
Jaipur
way.
Mum yeah, whenever Jaipur Mumbai train passes at 2:20, every if it's even 5 minutes late, so we are like, okay, the train is late today.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's true.
So every day, so
Right.
and since childhood we are living. So even in sleep, when the train passes, we are habitual of it. But whenever some guests
Oh,
come and the train
yes, I
passes in front
know.
of the house, they just always, get up and they're like, okay, the train is coming into the house and their sleep is disturbed over there, or we are having a nightmare. It's like no, no, no. And we all the
True.
hosts we are fast asleep because it is since childhood we are accustomed to this noise that even the train is blowing
Absolutely,
the horn and
absolutely. I think that's very interesting.
pitch and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
So
you,
even small
Jayaditya and
children they
Shubhashish,
start
for
crying
taking us
and
to your
yeah.
childhood. Yes, I can understand. It's not an easy thing, because you are so accustomed to the fact that there are trains which will pass by, and that at times it gives a lot of vibrations to the house as well. And for those who are living, every time they hardly feel those vibrations. But for other people, they're like, is the train really hitting in the house or how? So that's true. Okay, thank you, Shubhashish and Jaditya. We'll just quickly move ahead and we'll wrap this thing up. So then you have also cloud watching. That really helps us to de-stress ourselves and to give a break from the work, and it helps in reducing the side effects of burnout. So cloud watching, just watching them, which that again brings me to the point that Shubhashish raised, that hobbies have changed over the years and over the time span. And then something called uh, that is crochet, but it's a French word, so that's come from accrocher and cro. So, in any guesses for English pronunciation for this one? Anyone who could pronounce this word? Yeah, Tanuja.
Crocheting.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So that's this activity, and I'm sure you understand. It's a craft that involves using a crochet hook to interlock loops of yarn or thread to create fabric. So that's this one. And the last one that we have for you is, I'm sure you have started working on that as well. That thanks with your interest. This is anyone for this one? I think your voice is not very clear, Jayaditya. It's It's breaking. The voice is breaking. Yeah, Shubhashish, you'd like to say about this one?
Yeah, it's origami,
Origami.
and it is, I think, a Japanese skills of, like making craft
Absolutely.
paper.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the Japanese.
And the crocheting that you told, the previous one, I've seen
Yeah.
my mother recently, like making stuff, so using that skill.
All right. So, okay. So you have seen her do these things with the crochet.
Yes, yes.
That's great. Perfect. Right. So this is origami. We don't know how do you pronounce in Japanese the right way, origami, or some way somewhat differently. But then, of course, in English we would call it origami, or you can always have your own pronunciation. It's a Japanese technique that's rightly mentioned by Subhashish. It means ori and gami, which involves paper and folding. So when you do the paper folding techniques and you create something wonderful out of it, that's this technique. And I'm sure in India people have started taking this activity as a hobby for themselves too. All right, so with this we have come to the end of our session for today. I thank you all
So
sincerely
just one small
yes,
comment. I was
yes.
very good at origami when I was in class 3 and 4 because I used to tear pages from my notebook and make paper planes.
Okay. But do you still do that? No, you don't do that anymore.
No, 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 no.
All
Now
right.
I'm too old for that.
Okay. No, we are never old for anything, right? It's a lifelong learning. It's a lifelong process, something that interests you, that keeps you motivated, and that does good to you. I think that can be pursued anytime, every time. And with that, we are wrapping the session up. I thank you all to have joined this session and to have shared your opinions on this topic. And I wish that you all flourish with whatever hobbies that you take up for yourself or that you have been taking up for yourself. And thank you so much. See you in the next episode with a new topic. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.